hey, Patreon, Matt with Olympus Reptiles. The one thing I forgot to do in the YouTube video, because sometimes I just start doing this, but it's actually a very important thing to do when you unbox snakes. And I don't usually get on my cell phone in videos, but in this case I'm going to, and there is a reason for it. It is very important, I think, to let people know when you're receiving snakes from them that everything arrived okay. And it just puts them at ease. I know, now if you got somebody who's shipping, 300 or 400 snakes a year, maybe they don't give a shit. But I know for me, the level we ship, which is, I don't know how many we shipped this year, but I always feel good when I know that the animal arrived and it's okay, that the person hasn't, the animal's alive, and it takes my stress level down a notch. And for poor Cody, he's probably gonna watch this, he's had to wait longer because what happened is he shipped it, Kurt picked up, kept it in air conditioning, and then we opened it to do the video as soon as we could, but I don't get off work till late, so it kind of pushed it back a little bit. So I wanted to text him really quick and say, hey, everything's here. I will tell you, if you do that as a buyer, you will certainly make your sellers much happier. And as a seller, when you are starting to sell, or if you are selling, and some of you that are can chime in too, I'm sure you're very happy when your buyers say, hey, I got the box, it arrived okay. And you're like, whew, because shipping is stressful, not just for the snake, but for us. A couple things. You probably heard me tell one of my first little white lies on YouTube just now. And what that was is that, we're trying to up production because we want to make sure and meet some demands on YouTube. I really don't give a shit if we ever meet the demands on YouTube. Like, if everything sells here, I'm perfectly cool with that. However, we do want to go to shows. We do want to get out and meet some people, but we're also looking at ways of doing that, even if we don't have reptiles to sell, so we can get out there and meet some folks and do some cool stuff. So we're working towards that. I got a couple irons in the fire on that front. Yeah, we wanted to increase production because the number of you guys are growing, and I definitely want to make sure that there's enough animals to go around as we grow. Now, if we ever topped out at 810, I don't think we'll ever produce 810 snakes in a year, so it's not going to be like a 1-to-1 ratio, but hopefully for those who are looking for something, we may have something they're looking for, and at least something they might be interested in, or something of that nature. But and who knows, maybe we'll produce more than that. I know what numbers are in my head, and I don't ever see it quite getting there. See it getting just a little bit shy of 810 for production year in, year out. But that's also down the road. Production this year is probably, hopefully going to be around 140 to 150 if I had to guess. We're still, of course, waiting on females, like a lot of people. We've got 4 clutches cooking, and I want to say the egg totals were, help me out if I'm wrong here, we had a 6, a 9, a 10, and a 7. Does that sound right?
I don't think the first one was a 6.
No, the last one was a 6. The champagne.
Yeah, a 7.
A 7, then it was 9, then 10, then the 6.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I didn't do them in order. I did it backwards for the most part. So anyway, so we're looking, we're looking good. That's 19, 26, 32 out of 4 females. Hopefully it keeps on rolling, and we are expecting a lot more clutches. So that's kind of cool. But a few more things on that full disclosure, and Cody can correct me if I'm wrong, but from the get-go in this deal, he was very upfront of, hey, I've got a few things I'm going to be moving on from because I'm going in a different way, which will happen. But this snake here, it's been having feeding problems, and he lists out everything he's done to try to get that to eat, which I mentioned a few of it in the YouTube video, like even driving the car, changing to different enclosures. He was also taking it to, somebody else that he knew that has a lot of experience and trying to get their help, and they were able to get it to feed sometimes for a few weeks and then come back and they just wouldn't want to eat. And one of the keys to getting that snake to feed for them was African soft furs. He said it pounded African soft furs. However, they don't have the source there to consistently get African soft furs. We usually do. I say usually because right now our soft fur breeding sucks, but we have enough babies that we can reset the tubs. Basically, they get old and they just kind of stop. And that's kind of what happened. They all kind of got old at once. And then Kurt had set back a bunch of holdbacks to reset, and somebody at the shop, not realizing what he was doing, no, it wasn't me, sold them all to the same damn person. Oh, here's 20 of them. And really kind of, for lack of a better word, fucked our ASF breeding. But we have enough babies to reset those tubs, and we're going to be taking the retired breeders and feeding off to this girl for now to try to get her pounding that food and get her back going. So we have some hopes and some ideas that we think will work, and we'll obviously keep you updated because we want to keep Cody updated on how that animal is doing. But if you ever sell an animal like that, Kurt just about busted his ass, he stepped on the toolbox. If you ever sell an animal like that, the thing I want to just make sure you understand is disclose it. And you don't have to like downplay what it is. I mean, you can still be excited about the animal, and you should be, but you just disclose what's going on. It's no different than selling a spider. You know, everybody here knows about spider wobble, but if I'm selling at a show and I got somebody who's looking to get, I'm looking to get my first ball python, or I just got into it and they are looking at a spider, I always say, hey, do you know about spider wobble? And we have that conversation. I explain what it is. Where we're selling is never bad, but that way they at least know and they have an understanding. Now, they know everything about it? Of course not. I'm not giving a 4-hour class during a show. That's unreasonable. But we have that conversation. Same thing on the giveaway bell. We did that giveaway bell, but what do we talk about before the giveaway, during the giveaway, all through the giveaway? Has a slight imperfection at the tail. And we showed it. This is what's going on with that snake, just so people know. We showed you that pinstripe that's on the struggle bus that I'm still not 100% sure I'm going to be able to get off of the struggle bus. But if somebody buys that snake down the road, if I get it going, they're going to know what that snake went through and know that it did give us some fits, but it's doing fine now. The calendar we showed the other day, that's now like rock star in it, but it gave me fits. Like, it's important to disclose a lot of those things. Now on a baby, like if I wasn't doing the video thing and I had that calendar and it gave me fits early on and I got it going and I had it for a while and it was doing great and it wasn't a problem anymore, on that kind of a baby, I probably wouldn't worry about disclosure on that simply because I'd chalk it up to being a newborn and being a pain in the ass. And once it's rolling, it's rolling. But when you have a snake, especially a subadult or an adult, or even a baby, if it's not doing well, but if it's doing well for you, it's one thing. That's not feeding or not doing something properly or has an issue, it's very important to tell that buyer. If you don't disclose that, what's going to happen is somebody's going to blast you on forums and blast you here on this, and not here, but in places. And it's just going to damage what you're trying to put together. And that damage sometimes is irreparable. If you get enough goodwill on the bank, so to speak, like if somebody now, and we probably have it happen, I don't even know about it, and I know, think Barcheck has it happen at least 3 times a week. Somebody's going to go and say how terrible you are, how horrible you are about your animals, all of this, And again, I don't know if anybody ever, but I know they do about Brian. Just look, they've all got this sickness. Everything has mites. There's diseases in there. They ship dead animals. I once heard he boot stomps leopard geckos. All kinds of crazy shit, right? But he has enough goodwill from the following that he has built, and people who actually know what he's doing, that little bit of negativity doesn't always cause a big problem. So you got to build that goodwill. And one of the ways you do that is just like Cody did, fully disclosing what you're selling. That is very, very important because most of us don't have the following that Brian Barcheck has, and most of us never will, myself included. So it's just important to be very open and very honest. I also think that's something that when I look at my business plan and why I said that our numbers will never match necessarily the Patreon total of 810 people if we ever get there, is, as Kurt and I have talked about it too, I don't ever want to get so big that I'm hiring a bunch of employees and I got 2 or 3 people working for me and they come here every day and they're doing this and that, and now I'm managing people and doing this, and I don't like doing that shit. I don't even like doing the finances. It pisses me off, and I have to force myself to sit down and do it. But the fact is, I want to work animals. And when you get to a certain point, it's very hard. If I had 4 or 5 employees and I was producing an ass load of animals and my employees are the ones doing most of the work, I may not really know what's going on with all of them. Then I have to rely on my employees to disclose things and on them to take care of it all. And that's okay for some. I'm not knocking that. And if that's something that one of you wants to do, then by all means, man, go for it. Chase what your dream is. But for us, our dream fits more kind of in the JKR realm, where I want to really be hands-on with what I do. I think he has 1 full-time employee, and I don't even want that. I mean, there's 2 of us. I don't think we need that. We probably need a guide we can rely on when we travel to take care of shit, and I got a few people in mind for that. But that's about it. And that way, though, I know whenever I show you a snake and I say, oh, well, this is what's going on with that one, I know because I'm the one who's doing it. I'm the one who's putting my hands on that animal. I'm the one who's taking care of that animal. And if something goes south or wrong, I'm the one who screwed it up too, and I'll take that responsibility. Sometimes I don't even screw anything up and I lose something like a baby, and I still feel like shit. And one time I killed a couple tubs of Kurt's rats when we first started, and I felt like shit for that. Honest mistake, but it happens. But when you're the one doing the care, that's the size that we want to be. So as you grow in your hobby, one important thing is kind of ask yourself two questions. Where do I want to go in the end? Like, what's my end goal? Do I just want to produce enough to take care of a small collection and offset some of the cost? Do I just want to have the snakes? Do I want to do this as a side business and make, a little bit of money on the side just to pay my car payment or pay the wife's tanning bill or whatever the hell it is you want to pay for? Do I want to do a full-blown business? And do I want to have a large business? Like those are important questions. And when you have those answers, and they may change as you go through, okay, then you can start dictating your path based on those answers, if that makes sense. And this really wasn't what I decided the topic was going to be. It just kind of morphed into that. And for us, I'll tell you exactly what we want to do. We want this to be our sole job. We want our sole job to be filming about animals and goofy shit and taking care of animals. That's what we want to do. But we also know it's going to take so long to get there. And I have numbers that I think I can handle while working. Right before I leave my day job, I can tell you I'll probably be damn near killing myself. And if I don't have a small heart attack, it'll be amazing. But we are going to get to that point, to that edge, and then I'll leave one job and make this my only career. That's what I want. That's what Kurt wants. Kurt doesn't really want to work for the city forever. He likes mowing, but not that much. We want to do this. But we don't want to get so big that we're having to hire people and manage employees and run that kind of business. Our goals are basically to replace our incomes and make a decent living where I'm not eating ramen noodles every day, but I'm also not trying to go buy a Ferrari, if that makes sense. We just want to be able to do and live a little bit of that Steve Irwin life and maybe go bring you films from Africa and Australia and the Bayou and Death Valley and Joshua Tree and everywhere, That's our goals. So, where we're wanting to head, and, well, you're helping us get there, so thank you. And hopefully, as you go through your journey in this hobby, you'll get some direction for where you want to be. And if you've got questions on that, or if you're kind of on the fence on some things and you think maybe we can help you answer it, ask. I'm not going to ever tell you, well, this is what you should do in the hobby, because that's your decision. But I will certainly share my experience in the hobby and the decisions that push me to certain places. And then you can use that knowledge and that experience of mine to do with what you want. But ultimately, I can't ever make that decision for you. Nobody can. Kurt, anything you want to add?
No.
Am I off base on what I'm saying?
No.
As far as what we want to do? Or did you want a Ferrari?
No.
Can it be a green one? They're cheaper, right? It can't be red.
Green Ferrari.
Green Ferrari? Kurt just wants a green Ferrari. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.